U.S. analysts say North Korea's missile test puts U.S. mainland in range. Skip X Embed X Share Close. North Korea has fired an ICBM, traveling 620 miles into the Sea of Japan. Buzz 60. People in Pyongyang, North Korea, are pictured watching a news broadcast of a second flight test of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Photo, John Kuljin, App Images. 1678 Connect Tweet Link Eden 65 Comment Mail More. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said Saturday the second flight test this month of an intercontinental ballistic missile shows that his country can hit the U.S. mainland, a view shared by U.S. analysts who say a stretch from Los Angeles and Chicago now appears technically within range of the North's weapons. Kim, according to the Korean Central News Agency, KCNA, expressed great satisfaction after the Hwasong-14 missile reached a maximum height of 2,314 miles and flew 620 miles before landing in waters off Japan. The agency said that the test was aimed at confirming the maximum range and other technical aspects of the missile it says was capable of delivering a large-sized, heavy nuclear warhead, according to the Associated Press. Kim also noted that the Re-night launch showed North Korea's ability to mount a surprise attack. The KCNA quoted him as saying the launch reaffirmed the reliability of the country's ICBM system and an ability to fire at random regions and locations at random times with the entire U.S. mainland now within reach. The July 4th test indicated that Alaska was technically in range, but not the U.S. mainland. Expert David Wright, co-director and senior scientists for the Union of Concerned Scientists, writes Saturday that Friday's launch sent the missile on a very highly lofted trajectory that narrowed its range, but that one flown on a standard trajectory would have a range of 6,500 miles. A chart of U.S. cities shows that Los Angeles, Denver, and Chicago appear to be well within range of this missile, and that Boston and New York may be just within range, he writes in his blog All Things Nuclear. Washington, D.C., may be just out of range. What remains unclear, Wright said, is the mass of the payload the latest test missile carried. If it was lighter than the actual warhead the missile would carry, the ranges would be shorter than those estimated above, he said, referring to the chart of vulnerable U.S. cities. Swimmers gather in a wave pool at a water park in a leisure complex in Pyongyang on July 21. Ed Jones, AFP/Getty Images. Japanese Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida said he told U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson by phone that the second missile test greatly increased the threat from Pyongyang. He said two sides agreed to consider all means necessary to exert the utmost pressure on North Korea. They reiterated calls for new sanctions and to work closely together with South Korea along with efforts by China and Russia. For his part, Kim said the launch sent a serious warning to the United States, which has been meaninglessly blowing its trumpet with threats of war and stronger sanctions, the KCNA said. President Trump condemned the missile test as a threat to the world, and rejected Pyongyang's claim that nuclear weapons ensure its security. In reality, they have the opposite effect, he said in a statement. Trump said the weapons and tests further isolate North Korea, weaken its economy, and deprive its people. He vowed to take all necessary steps to ensure the security of the U.S. The president has said he will not allow North Korea to obtain an ICBM that can deliver a nuclear warhead. But this week, the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency reportedly concluded that the North will have a reliable ICBM capable of carrying a nuclear weapon as early as next year, in an assessment that trimmed 2 years from the agency's earlier estimate. Ex-embed the spokesman, Navy Captain Greg Hicks, said Dunford and Harris placed a phone call to Dunford's South Korean counterpart, Jen. Dunford and Harris expressed the ironclad commitment to the U.S. Republic of Korea alliance, Hicks said, referring to the U.S. defense treaty that obliges America to defend South Korea. Abe, too, said Japan would cooperate closely with the U.S., South Korea and other nations to step up pressure on North Korea to halt its missile programs. July 27 is a major national holiday in North Korea called Victory in the Fatherland Liberation War Day, marking the day when the armistice was signed ending the 1950-53 Korean War. That armistice is yet to be replaced with a peace treaty, leaving the Korean peninsula technically in a state of war.